Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people hate reading. This week we're doing the movie Gravity, made in 2013, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. And we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston, and special guest host Rob Charney.
Hey, the old guy's here. All right, old guy.
So who has a description of this week's movie?
I guess that would be me. So, Gravity 2013, a medical engineer and an astronaut work together to survive after an accident leaves them adrift in space. Woohoo!
So who wants to go first?
Okay, I kind of feel like jumping in right off the bat.
Okay, Tag.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, first of all, I fucking told you so. This movie ruled. I knew we were having kind of a discussion on which one we were going to go see in the theaters, and I was like, Gravity, why is this even a discussion? Who wants to see this movie?
It also helped there was nothing else in theaters that week.
And I had a buddy of mine actually go see it a couple of days before I did, and he's like, dude, I fell asleep. It was so quiet. I crashed out the entire time. I woke up. It didn't even disturb me. I was like, okay, well, I wonder if that's going to affect it. I loved how quiet this movie was.
By the way, I gotta give credit for the director for not wanting to do the 2001 Space Odyssey thing. I was really worried about that. Just what I want to hear in space. Da 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 da.
Yeah, I mean, well, they had a couple of little classical moments, but the soundtrack, or not the soundtrack, but the score was really, really well used amongst the silence. You know what I mean? But the silence when the shrapnel the first time it destroyed the what was it, the ship Enterprise?
Was that?
Or am I saying Enterprise? I
don't think it was the Enterprise. It was something different name.
Something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, it can't be the Enterprise.
But anyway, when everything slammed through the ship, and everybody throughout history has always done amazing sound and explosions in space. You know, everything has some crazy, atomic blast to it. And this was just something being shredded, and it was so eerie. I thought the silence in the movie was really, really well used.
The cinematography was insane in this movie.
Man, did you guys see it in 3D?
I have a point on that.
What? No, I didn't either in 3D.
I didn't see it in 3D either.
Did you?
I want my money back.
I thought it was all of the stuff was really, really well used.
Well, hey, you'll get your turn. Sit down, old man. He's getting crotchety.
I want my money back.
Blood sugar.
That's right. Past my bedtime and I haven't eaten. I'm gonna get grumpy.
My only complaint in this movie was when Sandra Bullock got out of that spacesuit. Don't they wear jumpsuits under there?
Yeah, well, they do.
Not her. She's a scientist.
No, not her.
She's not an astronaut.
I didn't even know until Ryan said she was, or no, you said she was a medical researcher. How the hell did I know? I had no idea.
Yeah, they don't really tell you that.
What the hell was she doing medical out in space?
And the Hubble Space Telescope.
Performing surgery on the spacecraft.
Oh, so they needed her. Okay, yeah.
They called a lifeline.
Jeez.
All right, what else you got,
They mentioned that she was a medical engineer, when they were talking the whole time.
Oh, that's right, they did, because they said that
they did subtly.
What was she doing in the basement?
Well, no,
that's what Clooney's asked her.
What they said is that the thing they're installing into Hubble was something she made in the basement. Yeah. They thought they could have worked in the Hubble Space Telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
You're up, buddy. Let's do it.
Come on, time's ticking. Come on.
Okay, look. Any more than that? I mean, obviously, it goes without saying. This movie is visually really, really, really amazing.
Stunning. I gotta say, stunning on that. They did some great views.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I don't know if you guys are all familiar with the gentleman Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
Okay. He's done a bunch of interviews. He's pretty much the face of NASA, more or less. That and the Mohawk guy. He tweeted a couple of things about, the shrapnel would have been moving this direction because we know, shrapnel moves a certain direction, around the, orbit or whatever. He had a couple of things to say about the thing. I'm sure the jumpsuit might have been one of them. But everybody was like, dude, what's your problem? And he was like, look, to be fair, I really like the movie. And that says something to me that even an astrophysicist, no matter if he's picking out just one or two things, is still like, yeah, that's really good. And I mean, when was the last time we ever saw a modern day space exploration movie like that? It's always the future Space or Cowboys. Something like Apollo 13 that was in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. Well, they redid it. What was it? Apollo 11? Not
13,
that long ago.
doesn't
Was
it?
it 13 or 11?
Because that
Yeah,
came out
13.
in the early to late 90s.
Yeah.
If you're finished, Ryan, I'll go right after you.
No, I want to see what the old guy has to say. No.
Now, the old guy can wait a little bit longer. Let him sit and simmer
Yeah,
a
give me
little bit.
more because I'm ready to just jump on all of these.
I personally actually agree with Ryan. I actually thought the 90-minute running time actually went really fast. I thought the pacing.
Awesome.
I thought the pacing in this movie was really well done. How they didn't sit too long on every scenario. Going from the International Space Station to the little spaceship to the Chinese. I thought everything was really fast.
Not to mention, I think the whole thing only really took place over like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did the 90 minutes and the 90 minutes.
Yeah, true.
Sure, yeah.
So.
And the one thing that I mentioned earlier was the cinematography, both inside and out, was really well done. From the camera angles to the quick cuts to...
There's a few things in there I want to know how they did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can understand. How did they make them look like they were floating?
Exactly. That's what I was going to bring up, too.
Yeah.
Green screen in the vomit comet.
No, because she was actually floating. It looked like she was actually floating at times.
Well, it was done really well.
I wasn't thinking like that, could the vomit comet for certain sections, they take that 747 and they go up like this.
Yeah, my understanding is I'm sorry, my understanding was that they did use it for some scenes, but they couldn't use it for everything.
Yeah.
And most people don't last very long in that.
No,
because it's called the vomit comet for a reason.
How still it was when she was just kind of floating around in the capsule in the fetal position.
Right.
When she forgot about George Clooney.
Yeah.
She's like,
but I mean,
oxygen.
that was something else, man. Like
later, Clooney.
There was only one section of this whole movie that I thought the VFX on it looked awful. Was the ragdoll effect when she opened one of the spaceship the space station doors.
Oh yeah.
That was the one section of this movie I was thinking, wow, they could have done better with a doll and a piece of string.
Yeah.
Everything else I thought was good, and the acting during the re-entry scene was extremely dry. I thought that was the worst part of this movie, was how...
Oh, man,
I got things to say about that one.
What'd you say, Ryan?
I said I liked it, man. Sandy Bullock has really, come around to me in the last... It was like, to me, her career starts with Speed, there's nothing in between, and then we'll have this movie.
Wow. So... Let's go with James.
I have some comments about that.
I'm gonna James. It's your turn.
I gotta say, I think this movie could have really used some space sharks.
Sharknado in space.
I would have seen that movie.
The other thing I gotta mention is, those tanks, those oxygen tanks are pretty hardy. But Ryan also mentioned that it was 3 hours, and she floated over there for close to 90 minutes.
Yeah,
90 minutes, and plus whatever she had in the tank before the whole thing reached them. So I don't know. I kind of thought that was a little faulty. She's like, "Oh, I'm at 2%," and then like half an hour later, I'm at 1%.
Yeah, don't forget how fast she was breathing the whole time.
Yeah, but I mean, she wasted a lot of it early, and then George Clooney's kind of running out of oxygen too. But just that part was a little bit iffy to me. I don't know how much oxygen those tanks have, but obviously quite a bit.
That's the thing is, I don't know how much oxygen they have, but when George Clooney said, "You got to sip, don't gulp," not once did she sip. I
know.
The funniest thing is
they must have enough. I know in the spacewalks that they take to the space station, they have 6 and 7 hour space deployments.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a
big
tank.
They do have a lot of oxygen.
Yeah, but they also train to do that, and obviously she wasn't trained that well.
Well, she did say she had like 6 months of training.
I think the funniest she couldn't re-entry. Anyway, I got a point on that.
Crashed every one of her simulators.
I think the funniest part is when I was watching, you didn't hear anybody go, "Oh, George Clooney's dead. Such a bummer."
Well, I kind of thought it was kind of a bummer. I liked his character.
So you liked the hallucination when he showed up?
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, you like that kind of. Oh, he came back! Yay!
Actually, I'm like, no, he did not.
Well, here's the question: what was it, a hallucination or not?
It was a hallucination.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Well, that was lack of oxygen. Her brain was going crazy.
Well, I took that as a different thing than a hallucination.
No, that was a full-on hallucination. She was hallucinating that whole scene, and then she realized.
You think George Clooney's a higher power, and he can
no,
become a god?
He's like. No, the way I
like
thought...
Bruce was it?
cleaning?
Q? It was Q
I'm
in
cool with
Next
that. I don't know about
Generation.
you.
Well, the way-
They can just zip in and out.
The way I thought they were trying to do is the whole, he's actually dead because he said because he said how I got here was, it was quite a ride. So I figured, he's dead. He came to her as a dead guy. I thought that was kind of trying what they were trying to do.
But in that amount of time, he did the full orbit without hitting any of the debris and
But he's
came
a
right
ghost.
back to
Right.
that ship.
I figured it was Ghost Clooney.
And the worst part was when he opened up the air hatch to let himself in, she didn't have her helmet on.
Yeah.
She would have been dead instantly.
That's not actually...
Well,
I've read
not
recently...
instantly. She would have had...
her blood
as
would
long
have
as she didn't
boiled.
exhale.
Her eyeballs would have popped out of her head.
I've actually read recently that's not actually the case.
Yeah, it's not accurate.
Prove it. I want to see it because I'm sorry. Everything I've ever read or heard.
I'll point you to the guy who did prove it.
So wait,
Yeah, okay.
so Ryan, would you do us a favor?
Point me to him.
Go up in space and take
I
off
don't
your
believe
helmet.
it.
Let's watch.
All right. Anyway,
You
the
got
other
it.
thing I wanted to mention was, they really did use quite a bit of their budget on the scenes and the
lot.
graphics and everything, considering they only had 7 actors.
I was
The
going to
entire
7.
movie.
Look at how many they had. At least. Well, they had 2 actors on screen.
They had
And
7.
could've
Look
had
it
a
up on IMDb. They only
could've
have
had
7
a
credited.
Well, because they
You could have
have
had a producer do the voices.
Well,
No, they actually had actors
because
do
they
it.
had
They
the
had a-
actors in the space scene, and they had a few other people, but most of the movie was Sandra Bullock, and
Yeah.
half of it was Clooney.
Yeah, so they not even half of it. It was like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes.
So and then he makes a little guest appearance as Ghost or God Clooney, as John's saying. Anyway,
Hey, I'm cool with George Clooney being omnipresent.
Anyway, I also want to mention she is definitely not a model of women drivers either. Here, let me not check anything. And bounces the ship back and forth.
That was the one scene I was thinking.
She was tethered. It would have been difficult.
I figured they were going to have explosive bolts. Little did I know she had to actually get out and try. It's like changing a tire.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you notice how effortlessly she did that? I mean, there was no torque, no nothing, just.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it was it was like some sort of like
Come on.
Sears and Roebuck
I mean,
space
freaking
thing.
was like
Bolts
3
would've-
feet long. That thing looked like it could turn some stuff.
And I'm a little disappointed that they decided to blame the Russians for all this incident. I mean, I would have personally have blamed Obama or somebody like the Middle East or China or something, but China to the
That's the
rescue.
thing. You can't.
How
come
come
off
there was
like there's
nobody
an
in the
agenda.
Chinese-
Russia's always been a good
because they said they
storytelling.
evacuated it.
Oh, so they did say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I missed that part. I
Clooney
couldn't figure
mentions
that.
that they evacuated
The
the
Chinese-
Russian one that they hit first, and then the Chinese one was
okay.
also
Chinese
But
gu-
she was talking to somebody
Well,
in Chinese.
They had it was the ISS.
Was that the ISS?
Yeah, because Russia
Okay.
no longer has its own space station.
Oh, that's right. Anyway, and then the fact, I mean, when she lands the pod, and all of a sudden immediately decides to open up the hatch without looking, and then
Well, there was a
drowns the hatch. I understand that, but you gotta look. Roll down a window or something.
I actually, I thought she did look.
No, she didn't. She just was like. and then
Well, yeah. I mean,
closed
most
the
of it was
hatch.
coughing, but there was the window.
She didn't look
Yeah,
out the
she
window.
could see water.
I don't think
I
she
thought
looked.
she did. I thought she did. But the point also is that everything's on fire. You're going to want to get the heck
yeah,
out of there
I
anyway.
understand
Yeah, I
that.
don't care
And
where I am.
don't forget, she was also sinking too. So it was a matter.
It wasn't
of,
sinking at that point.
It went down pretty fast.
That's because she
Well,
opened
it
the
sunk
hatch
when
and
she opened the door.
drained all the
Yeah,
water in.
all the air went out. The water
you're
went in.
Yeah. Anyway,
Good
and
thing she wasn't
I mean,
wearing
seriously,
a-
what if there was no land? Were we going to go to open water after that? I mean, seriously.
How long can Sandra Bullock tread water? Catch us
I was,
later.
I was just thinking.
then
I
I
was actually
also-
thinking as soon as she opened the thing, I was like, "Oh wow, she's gonna do all that and drown." And then she gets up and she's kind of floating there. And there's all these bugs, and I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, she's gonna do all that and get West Nile virus."
Right.
And then all of a sudden you see
Yeah.
the plant and she goes crawling on the ground.
I have to
Did
say,
anybody
Sandra Bullock
time
died
how long she was underwater holding her breath?
Quite
no,
a while.
it was like
I mean,
only a minute or two.
I
of
was
the
late
scene.
because then,
Couple of minutes.
of course, she had to get out of the suit.
Yeah.
I knew that right away. It took her time. She was fighting, and I would have liked to time it.
Yeah, like
Just to
Trinity's
see-
death
Just to
and
see,
The
because,
Matrix.
Yeah.
I know as I get older, I can't hold my breath near as long.
I know.
Well, I think
Well,
James
she's
is
like
right.
But she-
40 something.
Yeah, she's
late
like 48,
40s?
49. I think James is right, though. I call
Yeah,
it the
she's-
Trinity effect. Because Trinity and Matrix, I swear to God, it's a 20-minute death scene.
It's actually only a 3-minute death scene,
Yeah.
but with that much rebar, you're dead sooner than that.
So it just seems like it took a while.
And the other thing I got to mention is the lack of gravity in this movie really disappoints me.
Oh,
I mean, there was only 5 minutes at the end.
that's it. And
Yeah,
the title
I
of the
mean,
movie was
I know.
Gravity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go figure.
False advertising.
Exactly. That's what I call.
So, the special interest groups they bring in, what should we call this movie? They come up with Gravity.
Exactly. All right, old guy, you're up.
Well, it was better than the other title,
Sorry.
Sandra Bullock in Space,
Oh, man. Now, you know what? We went today and saw it, my wife and I got to tell you, this is the most
Prepare
disappointing
for old guy rant.
most disappointing movie I have seen all year. I don't care, she could have been friggin' nude in this movie and I wouldn't have given a damn. I mean, the acting was bad. Clooney was an idiot.
What acting?
Floating around in his little thing, zipping around, being Mr. Cowboy. And then you got this funny, don't forget the crazy Indian, don't forget the crazy Indian guy was zipping on the end of his line,
Actually, I liked his death. I think.
Right through his face. Well,
cool.
at least they got, how did he die?
I have to admit that the Indian guy scene was the funniest part. Wait! I actually thought that was hilarious.
That probably was the best scene in the whole movie.
I mean,
really, come on.
I actually like the fact that when she was holding his head, looking through it.
Yeah, she could have reached through and got
I
something on the
spy
other
through
side.
my little eye.
Well, and then and then she gets into the ISS, right? And she gets there, and there's this floating body. It was like a scene right out of Jaws.
Oh yeah.
Where that head drops out. This was an exact copy of that. This head also
Stop
appears.
hitting the table so much.
I know. I'm becoming Italian. No, but that's what it was. It was exactly taken right from Jaws. Same thing. Head rolls out. Well, in this case, it's a head with a body, but rolls out. All the girls go,
I'm going to have to mute him to get my point in here. The only thing I'm surprised she didn't do was actually a quick check of the station. Because it got hit. I'm surprised she just didn't do a quick, make sure everything's okay, nothing's
before
leaking.
It blew up.
She tried.
Yeah.
I think she tried.
Well, because she went right past that panel with a fire. You think she would have kind of put her head on a
Actually, I liked that scene where the fire's floating
in the
air.
cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool. Very well
that was amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so that's my review. This movie sucked. Don't waste your money and see it as far as I'm concerned. That's how bad.
Wait for Redbox.
I do have a quick note for our over 50 crowd who watches this program. If you're gonna go see this movie, maybe just take a nap first. Maybe go to a Caro's, get the early bird special, put yourself in a good mood, and then see the movie. I get the feeling you might have been a little cranky going into this.
No, believe it or not.
Honest to God, I wanted to see this movie. I was excited to see it. Now, and I know I'm giving it a lot of crap, but I really didn't see a whole lot of redeeming acting in this movie. I really didn't. There was a lot of effects. The cinematography was great. I'll grant you that. What soundtrack there was okay. I had no objections
with the movie.
But it just was not exciting. I mean, everything was just... I mean, it went along with, no sound and everything.
I agree with you in the fact that it was not exciting, but I also have to jump on board with Ryan and John in the fact that the pacing of it was really well done for the type of movie it was, because it could have been a lot more slow and boring.
I have to say, though,
but the pacing moved it along, but like you said, it was it had no real
and
action.
Some of it for me was so improbable.
Well,
I mean, her escape with the fire hydrant.
Mute him again.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, I wonder if that fire hydrant would work.
Her escaping with that fire hydrant out to get to the Chinese capital.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That would have sent her fucking to the moon. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
She aimed. Come on. I actually think this isn't really an acting movie. I think the best part of this movie was the situations that they put her in. I don't think the acting best, but it's the situations surrounding where the acting
Repeat
takes
that.
place.
This is a movie with
The acting and
acting didn't matter.
No acting didn't matter. You could have put
Kristen Stewart in
two
this movie and it would have been good.
Well, okay. Let me clarify, John, if I may. I know what you're saying, dude. Because I agree with you on this. Like, the acting wasn't the focus of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good acting. Okay, it's Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. I mean, it's going to be good. But they're playing sort of like the regular kind of people. She was a medical engineer.
Kind of
you know what I mean?
They're in space.
Not the most loquacious people in the world, if you will. So, that...
Bust out his $5 word there.
All right. Now, that being said, it is the situations that put her in. It's the plot that's moving along with the shrapnel and sort of just this detective problem of trying to let's get home kind of thing.
See, I agree.
You know what I mean? Dude, there was a couple of moments in this movie that I was literally edge of my seat, sat up with, all my junk food all over my lap and moved forward like, oh, shit, here we go again with the shrapnel and the silence freaking me out,
I see. I agree 100% with Ryan. So here is
Okay.
So I'm going to give it my for far as rating. I predicted last week that I was going to give it a 3. I actually give it a 4.
Really?
I actually what acting there
What's
was,
your scale? 1 to 5?
Yeah.
And you're giving it a 4?
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh Lord.
Well, see, the reason I liked it is I liked the acting far as
Has he been informed what the rating system is?
I've told him before.
Okay, would you mind repeating
Well, what did you do
him?
for the audience? Maybe the audience doesn't remember.
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me.
I don't have it right in front of me either.
Oh, you guys you got your iPad? Bring up the damn website. Jeez.
Wow.
How do you guys do shows every week?
Well, I usually
Thank you.
remember, but I'm a little
Arbitrarily.
tired.
Maybe, yeah, arbitrarily. That sounds about right.
I
Just let shenanigans ensue.
well, I actually, the reason why I
Maybe I can bump your ratings a little bit and add some life to this damn show.
down boy.
All right, go.
Oh, he's a
Okay,
lot more alive than Jeffrey.
No comment. So, ladies and gentlemen, for a few of those who don't know what the Real Flix Review rating system is, written by the James Stevens over there.
Yep.
It's 1 out of 5 is horrible, absolutely nothing of value. 2 out of 5 is little or no redeeming factors. 3 out of 5 is okay, accomplished all that it set out to do, but did not enjoy it a lot. 4 out of 5 is accomplished all that it set out to do and enjoyed it. 5 out of 5, the magic number, enjoyed it completely and exceeded any expectations we may have had. I give it a 4 out of 5 because I actually like the situation.
Which is it, 4 or 5?
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, 4 out of 5.
I gave it a
Gotcha.
4 out of 5 because
I
I like the situations. I thought that the effects were amazing. Besides a couple of
What are you
scenes,
drinking there?
everything else, I just thought it was a
Vodka.
decent movie. So what about you, Ryan?
I'm scared to death of being berated by your father.
You
now,
will
but-
be. The old guy's going to get you, so
That's
come on.
okay.
Let's go.
I'll mute him if you want.
What was your prediction last week? Do you remember?
Ryan was 4 out of 5.
Really?
I kind of stand by it. I was expecting to really dig this movie, and I don't think I was let down a couple of moments. And then, like I said, I was like, oh shit, man, that's badass.
Not
Yeah,
bad for
totally-
watching
totally
a woman
enjoyed this
could be
movie.
your grandmother.
Don't worry.
you know.
Don't worry. In a couple of years, he'll pick her up. So
All right, Rob, I'm curious about you. What do you got?
Hey, man, according to your rating, it's a 2.5.
can't do
All
halves.
right.
Sorry.
We don't do halves.
Well, then
Numbers
it's a 2. That movie sucked. I mean, really, I'm glad I went on Senior Tuesday because I got in cheap. We also had a free movie ticket, so it only cost us $7. I wouldn't have spent a penny more. Don't waste your time. Go see something better. Sandra Bullock, I used to
Don't
think you
listen
knew
to
how
the
to
old
act.
guy.
You don't know how to act. That was terrible. A couple of your scary scenes, was, give me
Okay,
a fucking
okay.
break. I'm sorry,
James,
guys.
what about you? Holy crap!
Hold on, before that, James, I'm gonna go ahead and proxy Jeff's vote as a 4.
So ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Jeff could not be with us because of certain circumstances. So next week, if he's here with us, we're gonna force him to give us.
I kind of
his
like
opinion.
this.
So
Maybe they just put me on here. You get better ratings.
Later, Jeff.
Come on.
so James, what was yours?
My prediction last week was a 2, and
you're
I
smart.
stand by it.
You're a smart man.
Now, my reasoning isn't just off the acting. I thought that there wasn't enough to really grab me. I mean, I do got to give it to the cinematography, but as far as I'm concerned, that's where most of their budget went.
Oh yeah.
They picked up 2 major actors, and we're hoping to skate by on it, and I don't think they succeeded. It was all it really was just great and shiny pictures to me.
The craziest thing is I think Neil deGrasse, the person Ryan said, and I think a couple other people said this is one of the greatest space movies ever made, which is insane to think.
Yeah, but still, I think it was a letdown. I
don't.
I mean, the
We'd
way
have
they
to-
portrayed this movie, if you watch any of the trailers, any of the previews, was to be really, really high. So
Believe it or not, I
If
never
you
actually
look at
saw
it-
any of the trailers.
now, I did. When I was trying to find some more about it, I
Right.
found a bunch of trailers, and the trailers look fantastic. And like I said, the great and shiny pictures was pretty much all this.
The
movie was.
first 10 minutes of the movie was great.
Well, here,
Yeah, it was
The rest of it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the next portion of the show is the section where we go for movie news, and I'm going to go up, and the first
He's going to mute me. I know he is.
I might.
Yeah.
The first bit of movie news is Marvel saying there might be another Daredevil and Punisher movie. And here's my question. With what Marvel, a.k.a. Disney, did with the Avengers, this could be good. Or, on the other hand, it could be Judge Dredd made in 95.
Do they know who they're picking for these characters to be played as?
This is the just ancillary news. I haven't heard anything.
Well, it's too new a purchase, right?
So they're staying away from Benny Affleck?
Well, part of the issue is I don't actually think they have the rights to any of them.
Oh, really?
Don't forget, Marvel, when they did the other ones, that they temporarily sold the rights.
Oh, that's true.
So they may not have the rights. I think they now have the rights to Daredevil, but I do not know about Punisher.
Well, in a lot of cases, they have to if they get the rights back to it somehow, they might have to do something before they have to revert the rights back to the original owner. So they might just have to make the movie, otherwise give it back.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, is the past few Punisher movies have been slightly letdowns.
Well, the last one made was Punisher: The War Zone.
Yeah, I didn't think that was that bad, but the one before that, Dolphy,
it was pretty bad.
Well, no, Dolph was 80s. The last one I think was with Thomas Jane.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and
which I liked. I had no problems with that movie.
Yeah. I didn't think. I think could have been done better.
I think that was
one
of Roy Schneider's
John
last
Travolta,
movies.
ironically, was my only problem with the movie.
He didn't do as bad as I thought he would in that one.
Oh, that's right. And
I was kind of expecting more off the back of Swordfish, but I kind of let down the bad guy.
So I think Daredevil. I'm not sure how good of a movie you do. Punisher, I think, is a great property if you do it right, and I don't think they've ever done it right. There's so much great story to that.
Well, they put too much effort into the last Daredevil, and it was such a letdown. They threw in way too many characters and bad characters and mixed match bad guys.
The character itself, and I'm not even throwing any blame on Ben Affleck. He was just as charismatic as he needed to be to play Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is a pimp in the books, dude. So
we all know how
that
you
was
feel
fine,
about
but
Benny.
it just got a little too fantastical about certain things,
Benny.
and it's like, okay, you had this nice and grounded in the real world, and then you just took it too far.
I actually think the problem is they made it too comic booky. They made it like the 90s Batmans. I think if they
was like the Joel Schumacher
I agree with
Batman.
that. I'll give you that one.
I think if they made it more towards the end of Nolan's, as far as being a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, but I don't think Nolan had any of the Batmans going out at that time.
No, but I meant that style.
Yeah, but that style hadn't been introduced yet.
Well, I meant
Nolan
for
had
now.
Exactly.
I meant for right now. If they did it, they do it more in the Nolan style, a little bit more realistic, less.
And that's of course what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, they know how to do comic book movies now. If the Avengers and all the Marvel stuff and what's the couple of DC ones? Well, Superman and Batman's for Christ's sake. I mean, they know what they're doing now. They know what people like.
So hopefully this will be good. We'll see. I mean, I'll be honest. I like the guy who played.
It'll be years before you're going to see anything.
The thing I'm kind of sad,
like 2014, 2015.
I like the guy who played Kingpin, and he's no longer around anymore.
Michael Clark Duncan?
Yeah, that's the one I think is a bummer.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah,
because he actually played a good Kingpin, even though for the role.
He did do good.
Yeah, I liked his roles.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Green Mile was really incredible.
Playing the Kingpin in the Daredevil was like his worst role.
Yeah. And that was the best character in the movie. So you said you had some news, James.
Yeah, I don't want to step on yours if it's that
done.
one. So I got 3 things to say: Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Is it supposed to be Beetlejuice in Hawaii? Like
Beetlejuice 2 is supposed to be in the works.
Say anything? Michael Keaton is the only Beetlejuice. Now, please don't crash my.
And is Michael Keaton going to be in it?
Yes, that is in the works. They're in the talks right now between Tim Burton and
it's got to be Tim Burton.
Keaton.
I'm so happy right now.
They're in the works. That has been the talks have started on Beetlejuice 2. And it's been confirmed that the talks are in the works.
That's cool.
I do have a question because the sequel was allegedly going to be like Beetlejuice in Hawaii or something like that. Back when
I know that was horrible. It made me so sad.
So this is going to be something completely different. Than
I hope so.
Yeah, they got to do it right. They got big shoes to fill.
I had heard this discussed on not this particular news story, but the idea of Beetlejuice discussed on some other on a radio show, I think.
Okay.
But it got me thinking about it, and
writers got
Beetlejuice might be the best, most original character ever on screen.
I'll give one.
created just for that movie. I mean, wasn't adapted from a book or anything. Tim Burton just came up with Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but Edward Scissorhands didn't go much farther than the first one.
Well,
but I gotta say this though. I find that interesting that this news was released. I think it was actually released today or yesterday that the talks are in the works. Actually, no, it was today. Today it was tweeted and put out on all the movie sites saying that Beetlejuice 2 is in the works with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton, but they didn't say much more than that. They just say it's confirmed, it's in the works. But I had been wanting to watch Beetlejuice for 2 months now. It's kind of interesting. I'm like, oh yeah,
give me a reason to watch it.
Winona Ryder was in the first one, right?
Yes.
The question is, do you think she should be in the next one?
No,
because I do.
No,
because
it doesn't matter.
Because that was his love interest.
Line.
Well, here's the reason why I think it does. Because of all the material after that movie, she's an important part of that character.
You're right. But I don't know. You mean the cartoons and the comic books
and the other stuff?
Out?
Yeah,
okay.
She was always a second character there. They might not. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a backstory Beetlejuice.
But Keaton's way too old to be doing a backstory.
Damn right.
Well, but
that's true.
He's really already dead, so what's the difference? Doesn't matter how old he is.
That's true.
Good point.
So,
anyway, so what you said you had 2 bits was?
Nope, that was it.
So
Beetlejuice was movie news is quick this week, ladies and gentlemen.
No, actually, it was right on time with Rob's long rant.
That wasn't that long.
I keep going. I cut it way down. I can keep going. I got more.
That's okay, ladies and and ladies and gentlemen. For next week's theme, we're doing
sequels that are better than the original.
Yes, and I may be bending the rules just a bit here.
I'm curious,
but I was going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I don't think that counts.
They count as a trilogy.
No, it doesn't.
They count it as a trilogy.
Technically, it does. It's sold as a trilogy.
Yeah,
it's sold as the Man of No Name series, but
like I said, I'm stretching.
I can't say it's a sequential because the same main character isn't in it. It's a different guy. I mean, I know it's the Man with No Name, but different backstory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll let it slide. I'll let it go. I'm gonna let it go. Good, bad, and ugly. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that one ride too.
Yeah, he's the bad.
I told you.
So guess what that leaves you?
Thanks. Jeez. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Gravity a 4 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 4 out of 5. James and Rob gave it a 2 out of 5. Ours were right. They were wrong. And we'll see you next week.
I stuck with my prediction.
Goodbye. Hey, thanks for having me, guys.